Jessica Jones Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2, aka Start from the Beginning and Freak Accident. So these two episodes, I would say, are a really good introduction to the second season. I think they did a really good job kind of really getting right into it, where it's like, even if you watched the trailer, you knew that this season would actually focus on the immediate aftermath of what really happened with Jessica. We find out in the very first episode she actually lost quite a bit of time with these experiments. It was almost a month. I think it was specifically like 20 or 28 days. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. It's like, all right, they're jumping right into it. They have probably one of the best weird comic references with the Wizard, because when he says, like, they call me the Wizard and stuff, I was like, that's an actual character. I don't know if that is his actual thing. I don't think it is, like in the actual comic books at least, where he can run at super speeds when he's scared. I don't think that that's the character, but I thought it was cool. I was like, all right, definitely has the name. I don't think even super speed is his thing. It probably is with the Wizard. I'm pretty sure it is, but it was just like, all right, that's interesting. And he talks about how he has powers, but he can't show them off because it's when he's scared. So I was like, I believe him. I think this is going to be an actual thing, and we do eventually get to see that. Unfortunately, he ends up dying in the episode, but I thought it was cool. I was like, all right, that's a weird, silly introduction to, or reference to this old character. Nobody would have known that was a character unless they kind of were like me. You just watch random YouTube videos of like the crappiest old school comic characters. So it's like, all right, that's interesting. We get to see kind of what's going on with the rest of the characters. Trish is kind of dealing with some stuff where she's trying to help, but she has to go through like these kind of crappy channels. She has to go through, like her first introduction this season is her singing like the Patsy theme song, and the guys, they're like, oh, our daughter is a huge fan. I was like, I'm pretty sure they're the big fans, or at least the one guy was, because he made the deal with her for the medical file. So I'm like, okay, she kind of had to degrade herself a little bit. She's like, okay, this is definitely not something that I wanted to do, but it would help Jessica to get a little bit of information. Naturally, Jessica wants to avoid it at all costs because it's a pretty traumatic experience, so she wants to kind of avoid all that stuff, and she's trying to go through the process of just doing her normal thing, alias investigations. Then we have this guy, I believe his last name was Chang. So he comes in and he had risk management. So he wants to come in and kind of absorb alias investigations and kind of take over. So I love the scene where she's on another building, just kind of spying on him, and then he like gets the coffee and it gets next to the window. He's like, hey. So I kind of like that. And then of course she beats the crap out of him, and she's able to kind of pull one over on him and steal one of his clients away, just like he stole one of hers. So I was like, all right, well, that was cool. He was being dumb. I don't know what the deal was, where it's like, why would he think that he could take her? Because it's like, like, and that was one of the things I actually really enjoyed about just the first episode. It was like, even in the first season, it was the part where she basically lifts this dude's car up, and it was like, I'm not really hiding. I just don't kind of promote that I have powers. But she never really cared if people knew or not. And I love that. Like, her first investigation, she is helping this woman realize that her boyfriend that actually works for her is cheating on her. So she's like, well, I want you to kill him then. And so she kind of outs her, and it's like, yeah, she wants me to kill you. And then she crushes the chair and everything. And it was just like, everyone, people know that she has power. Some people recognize her, some people don't. But I was like, that's kind of cool. Some people just know, and she's just like, whatever. And it's this whole vigilante / superhero thing. And it's like, I'm kind of neither of those things. I'm just trying to be a PI. So I like that that's a big part of the show now, where before it was like, it's kind of out there. She didn't really hide it. And I think Luke Cage, like the first season, Luke Cage kind of did the same thing, where it was like, he didn't really hide it that much, especially after he got outed a little. So it was like, okay, they don't really hide it. They don't promote it though. And then Defenders comes out and they kind of have a bit more promotion. And I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I really enjoyed that for the first two episodes. But I like what they did with it. Like I said, the start kind of just jumping right into Trish trying to help out and having to go through these, unfortunate back channels, old connections and stuff. And we find out some really crazy stuff in the second episode, where her mom basically pimped her out to be in the show. I don't know if it was for the Patsy show or if it was like for a different thing, but she basically pimped her out to this guy who was at the time 40 while she was 15. So it was just like crazy stuff like that. And just Jessica Jones, like the show about the darkest of all the, the Marvel Netflix shows. So it was like, well, that's something that I really wasn't expecting. But I just enjoyed the way they kind of go through the story. And I wish I could think of Jessica's buddy's name, the guy that works with her, but he ends up helping out Trish. And I don't know if that's going to bite him in the butt when he got mad and he broke the dude's nose, because I'm like, of course he doesn't know who he is, but they were filming a movie. Like, I don't know if anyone's gonna do like full on investigations and all this crap. I'm like, they're probably security cameras as well as the filming cameras. He may or may not get busted for that. I don't know if that'll really come back to bite him, but not much in the second episode at least. He punches the dude, then it's like, oh crap, I should probably get out of here. And he just kind of takes off. But we find out that I want to say his name was Samson. It sounded like they were saying Simpson. I really can't even remember. I think it's Samson, but we find out that he's alive. That didn't mean nearly as much as I thought it would, because I'm like, oh, okay, well, that was like a big thing with him in I would say the second half of the first season, where he goes crazy because of the drugs, and he is a big comic character. I think he's called the Patriot, and it's like, all right, so he's officially alive. He comes back, and there is a shot of him in the trailer. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, he's back, and how's that gonna play out? Is he still gonna be the crazy guy? Is he a little bit different? And it turns out he was actually trying to protect Trish, because whatever is going on with the IGH thing, there's some crazy insane monster, which we got a glimpse of, because when Jessica goes through the old facility, she has like a glimpse of this character that basically looks like it's just Barney. Looks kind of like the Toxic Avenger. That's probably a weird reference. Ozar, if you're watching this, you probably know what that is though. So it's like this crazy disfigured burnt up creature, and I was like, okay, what is that going to become? Like, what is that thing now? And we get like just a tiny bit of a glimpse when it goes and tries to attack them on the studio line. It kind of jumps over them, and it turns out it was never actually coming after Trish, but it is taking down people around her, like at least people with superpowers. So it was very interesting. Like, I don't know exactly, what this, obviously you were only 2 episodes in, but it killed the wizard, it killed the like the doctor or scientist guy, and it was like, all right, and then it ends up killing Samson, and it's like, all right, well, that's pretty nuts, but it didn't attack Trish. It was just the people around her. So I don't know exactly what we're going towards with this season, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I enjoyed this. I was certainly surprised that they killed him off. I was like, oh, once again, he's back. He was a big deal in the first season. Coming back, still with the super strength, but not like mentally going crazy. I was like, oh, that should be an interesting dynamic. Him kind of rebuilding that relationship with Jessica and Trish. And then, he's dead. And he was dead because his head was like completely turned around. I was like, oh, that's not like a surviving thing. He's he walked through like getting shot in the leg, and I was like, okay, and that thing twisted his head just right around. He was done for, and I was like, all right, well, just nice little cameo appearance, and he's out of there. I thought it was gonna be way bigger, but definitely looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm excited to learn kind of more of what this company is gonna end up being, like what Jessica's gonna have to face, and how she's gonna end up coming up against this creature, whatever it ends up being, and why it's attacking stuff, because it seems like it's killing off, at least in the case of the wizard, seemed like an innocent guy. Like, he was trying to put out these secrets, but maybe that's what kind of got him put on the little hit list. So I'm very curious how this is going to end up playing out this season, like what secrets are going to get revealed, what other random people are going to be alive. Of course, I'm super curious what's going to happen with like the side story, because Jerry Hogarth has some pretty interesting stuff going on in these 2 episodes, where she was the one that sent the guy Chang to try to absorb Elite's investigations, because of course she and Jessica did had a bit of a falling out, and then she's getting sued by her ex, and the woman said, I don't know why she's like, who says that, where it's like, things you never know what's gonna happen, just ask your dead ex-wife, and it was like, wow, what a just shitty thing to say. But she's kind of losing it, and she picks up like the hookers off the street and stuff, and they're doing coke and stuff, and it was just like, I don't really know what's going on with her character, or where they're really taking it, but I am curious, because she wants to get rid of the competition a little bit and try to get back into the fold with Jessica as like at least an acquaintance. So I'm very curious how that storyline is ultimately going to play out, because right now it's just like this weird side story, and it's kind of just building up like Jerry's just doing some crazy stuff, and it's kind of like she's just in a bad spot. So I'm like, all right, well, where's this bad spot gonna take us, for her character, and how's that gonna kind of affect the main storyline? So definitely looking forward to how that's gonna play out, because it seems just like the normal human drama stuff, and it's like somewhere in there is gonna affect the main storyline. So I'm looking forward to that. But all in all, I thought these were 2 good episodes to kick off season 2. Of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about them, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about them, least favorite parts about them. And of course, going forward, I would love to know your predictions based off of these first 2 episodes. What you guys think about kind of the revelations that may or may not come up, what the deal is with our main villain, this big monster, what is going to happen there, and in general, kind of just what you guys want to see going forward in season 2. I would love to see Some more crazy action I think would be cool. I mean, obviously Jessica Jones is like not really the show for like the big action stuff. It's definitely the drama one of all the shows. But I'd like to see just a little bit more action, and I think we're gonna get that. And it definitely did, in season one. Like they have their episodes where it just gets nuts. So I'm sure we'll have that eventually, especially when she faces whatever this thing is gonna be by the end of the season. But we'll love to know what you guys thought about these first two. And like I said, your predictions going through the rest of the season and just what you guys want to see in general through the rest of the season. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.